Welcome students for this session. This is from Galila International Seminary, a course which is expected to be given for MA students. This course is about the change and conflict management. I'm Dr. Temasghen Abiyo, the presenter of this course. So the major purpose of this course is to equip students with the knowledge of how to manage change, how to manage disagreements, and develop trust in order to build understanding in the workplace. Therefore, in order to achieve this objective, there are some activities expected to be covered. These activities are divided into two parts. The first part is about change management. The second part is about conflict management. To begin with, the change management. Under the change management, there are some points which are expected to be covered. There are around 6 points. One is organizational change and management. The second point is communicating change. The third point is processes of change management. The fourth point is resistance to change. The fifth point is strategies for implementing that change. And the final point is about evaluating organizational change. The second part is about conflict management. Under this topic, there are around 9 points expected to be covered by a student. How the view explain our differences, the way how we perceive this world explain our differences. Second point is differences in personality, the makeup, the internal makeup of an individual. Third point is, are we going to fight or celebrate differences? Fourth point is, are you really building or bridging or a barrier? Building a bridge or barrier. The fifth point is understand and manage your feelings. The sixth point is develop your skills and increase your choices. Seventh point is 4 steps for resolution, means resolution of conflict. The eighth point is preventing conflict. Of course, it may be difficult to prevent conflict. This is because it is a normal. Ninth point is biblical conflict management. To begin with the first part, that is organizational change and management. As we all know, change is a phenomenon that pushes a person out of comfort zone. It is ubiquitous. We can find change anywhere. And inevitable. No one can escape from change. Therefore, change must be managed. What does it mean by change management? It is implementing significant change in an organized and systematic manner. So, management is simply an art of getting things done. So change must be well managed in order to lead it to the constructive way to these communities. The objective of change management is why we are expected to manage change. One is to ensure that people and the culture are aligned with a strategic shift. When there is change, there is a kind of strategic change, a strategic shift. Therefore, in order to align these things, people and culture must be aligned with these strategic shifts in the organization. Second, we don't find change in a smooth operation because in change process there are different kinds of blockades. So to reduce implements to change and increase engagement so that transformation is more effective. What are some of the steps towards achieving sustainable change? One thing, Under this, there are 3 points. In order to ensure sustainable change in a given organization, 3 things are important. One is having comprehensive understanding of the current state of the organization, the current situation of the organization. Second point is the implementation of relevant and focused strategies. Strategies that we use in order to implement change in our organization must be relevant. Second, it must to be focused. The third point is we need to analyze the situation. Situation needs to be well understood by the people who work in the organization. What does it mean by organizational transformation? Organizational transformation refers to activities such as re-engineering, redesigning, and redefining business system. The key enablers for transforming organizations are transformational information and technology. Let me repeat it again here. The key enablers, the most important thing, the most important input for transforming organizations are information and technology. Organizational transformation is a radical change which takes an organization to a new and different level of structure and functioning. Organizational transformation is not something modification or reorganization. It is bringing an organization to a new peaks or different level of achievement. To ensure transformation of an organization need to be continually be flexible, effective, and efficient. In order to ensure transformation in the organization must be flexible, must be open in order to accept different kinds of ideas, information, technology, and it has to be effective, and it has to be efficient. Second point is, organization must have a customer-centered approach to organizational activities. The core idea of transformation is getting customer-centered approach. Third point is create more productive environment by recognition of current strengths. Therefore, our environment must be productive, and we have to able to understand the current strengths of that organization. The fourth point is understand and position themselves to reap the benefit of repetitive technology and business alignment. So organizations must be ready in order to reap the benefit of that transformation. The fourth point is promote an integrated business approach, not individual approach. It has to be a kind of integrated business approach. What are some of the types of transformation? There are 3 types of transformation. The first one is improved operation. The second one is strategic transformation. The third point is corporate self-renewal. Improved operation is to achieve efficiency by reducing costs and reducing development time, and at the same time to improve quality of products and cost. Therefore, improved operation means simply reducing cost, reducing development time. This will create a kind of quality products and services. Second one is strategic transformation. It is to regain or attain sustainable competitive edge over competition by referring business objectives, establishing new strengths, and tying this capability to meet market opportunities. The third type is corporate self-renewal. This is to anticipate and adapt a change such that a strategic and operational gaps does not develop. strategies to improve, to manage transformation in organizations. In order to ensure, in order to manage transformation in an organization, there are some strategies. One is transformation through values. Second one is transformation through organization development. Third point is transformation through re-engineering. Fourth one is transformation through competitive benchmarking. The fifth one is transformation through Six Sigma. Dear students, please read page 7 to 8 of your module in order to get better understanding about the issue. This module is prepared by Galila International Seminar. So to get in-depth understanding about the issue, you have to read this material. The other point is about nature of the organizational change. Organizational change takes place because of internal and external forces. The internal forces may create instant change, whereas the external forces may result in a gradual change. Second, the effect of change in any one part of the organization creates fundamental changes in rest of the organization. This could be steadily or eventually. The third nature of organizational change is the effect of change in one various section of the organization takes place in a varying degree and rate. What are some of the factors leading to organizational change? These factors could be either external environment or internal environment. External environment are such as political condition, social condition, technological condition, economic condition, legal, international, and labor market environment. This could just force an organization to be engaged in change. So second one is internal environment. This one is about organizations' management policies and the styles, system, procedure, as well as employee attitude will just bring an organization or forces an organization to bring or to lead to organizational change. Second point of this course is about communicating change. Dear students, this chapter deals with role of communication in change management, factors and strategies of communicating change, the role of the top management in an organization in the communication process. Why communicating change is important? For three reasons. One is to pay adequate attention to diverse interests. People are different in terms of their interest. People are different in terms of their power relationship. People are different in terms of the action. Therefore, in order to get adequate attention about this diverse interest, communicating is very important. Second, to make people understand in the inevitability of the change and the best way of coping or serving with the change. Change is inevitable. Okay? Therefore, always, people should not struggle to stop change. Rather, they have to able to create best way of coping or serving with the change. The third point is to ensure that the people share similar values and are aware of what actions are appropriate to these values. To have consistency in the action and the words, the communication of change is required. Communicating change could be team-based or it could be top-down communication. But by most scholars, team-based rather than top-down communication styles are most preferred because change can take place through shared values and the use of positive emotion. What are some of the methods and the techniques for communicating change? One is spray and pray. This one is providing a lot of information and expected to understand what is important and relevant, what is not. That is simply bringing or conveying message as it is without filtering the information. The basis of the theory is more is better. Why spray and pray is the more is better. Employees are mostly unable to filter out the important points from the whole information. Second technique is tell and sell. This one is just giving only core organizational issues. Here, change managers try to both inform staff about changes and persuade them that the change are necessary and good. The third point is underscore and explore. The focus in this strategy is on the core issues of the impeding change, and the employees get to participate in a dialogue while management regarding the change process. The fourth point technique is identify and reply. This strategy is largely defensive in nature, where only the rumors and misconceptions about the work practices among the staff are recognized and addressed. The last one is withhold and uphold. The organization remains tight-lipped and secret about the coming change and only disclose information when it is absolutely unavoidable to withhold it any longer. What about the role of top management in communicating change? Of course, people in all organizations, all people are responsible for the change happened. But the top management has its line share in communicating this change. The top management must recognize two things in communicating change. One is my message regarding the actual change itself. That means the existing situation and the justification for the change, the image of the organization, the essentials of what exactly is up for change, how it will change, and when it will change, the prospect that change is essential and is not optional. So managers are responsible in order to do this. Second role is message regarding the impact of the change on the employees. How changes will affect the everyday activities of the individuals. Second, in doing this, the first one is about what the change is. Second one is about the impact of the change. Under the impact of the change, consequences of the change on the job guarantee, how the employee is expected to behave and act in view of the change. Third point, what would be the procedure for getting assistance when change implementation is in organization. Thank you very much for listening us. This is Galila International Seminary, and this course is the first section. Then after the break, we will come back with chapter 3, that is about process of change. Thank you. Welcome students for coming again here. The next part of this presentation is about process of change. Change management or change is not an overnight work, but it is a kind of process. So this change management process must have include a kind of 4 major issues. The first one is, in order to manage change, the first thing is clarifying roles and expectation for change. What is the role of each individual and what we expect from that change must be clearly known for the change benefited people. Second point is identifying priorities for the change. We may face different kind of changes at a time, but we need to prioritize that change in order to ensure its effectiveness. The third point is about planning the organizational development change. Change is to bring a kind of organizational development, so we have to plan for that, to address the identified priorities. The fourth point is change management and evaluation. As I said earlier, management is an art of getting things done. Therefore, change must be managed in order to bring it to the constructive way. Therefore, it has to be also evaluated. Change must be evaluated. Otherwise, sometimes, if it is not properly handled, it may create, or it can be a kind of destructive. So it has to be well organized and well evaluated. Please, the Lila International Seminary produce very interesting module for this course. Read page 16 to 20 in order to have further information about this issue. Concerning about preparation for change, preparation for change means identifying required change, determining major concerns and issues of the change, identifying obstacles, identifying risks, identifying cost of change and reasons for change. We have to do this. This is what we call it preparation for change. Second point is building a vision. This one is formulating clear vision, helping people in identifying what is involved in a change, and the way to manage the change must be clearly introduced for the people. The third point is plan the change, developing appropriate strategy for the introduction of the change. Which strategy are we going to introduce that change? So strategy must be clearly known. The other point is implementing the change. Implementing the change and keeping records of the progress, identification of the gap, and resistance to overcome. The last point is monitoring and reviewing change. This is assessing progress as compared to targets and ensuring that the achievement of the desired result is determining the success of the project and monitoring how the stakeholders perceive the change situation. These are the 5 points that are about the change process controlling. To control the change, we have to apply these 5 points. Resistance to change. Resistance to change is simply unwillingness to support the change. There is a traditional saying in our world, in our country, known devils are better than unknown angels. This statement is a good example that how people fear change, because change is always a kind of something with muting. So resistance is a phenomenon that affects the change process by delaying, by slowing down its beginning, by obstructing or hindering its implementation, and increasing its cost. There are 2 forms of resistance. One is implicit, another point is explicit. The implicit one is show disagreement, strikes, not meeting deadlines, increased employee turnover. The explicit one is loss of loyalty, lower of moral, absence, avoidance, low of tolerance. There are 9 techniques to overcome resistance to change, which is written or on the module prepared by Galila International Seminary. It's better to read page 23 to 25 in order to have better understanding about these forms of resistance. The other point is about strategies for implementing change. Strategies for implementing change. How can we just implement change? There are 4 types of change management strategies. The first one is normative re-educative strategy. This strategy is change in the norms, attitudes, and the values of individuals. This will lead to changes in the behavior. Attitudes and values are internal conditions of the individual, but behavior is reflection of the internal reflection of the attitude and the values. Therefore, values are, or behaviors are, or the behavior of an individual is the reflection of attitude and the value. Therefore, this one is, we have to change first in order to ensure change in behavior. We have to change the norms, attitude, and the value of the individual. Second point is rational strategy. This deals with rationality of the people to embrace change for their self-interest. That means giving justification, reasoning out for the observed change. The other point is power coercive strategy. This one is people comply with change when it is enforced by the top echelon of management. When change is introduced by force by the top management, then people may what? May oppose, may complain for that change. Therefore, the one way is this one. The other point is action-centered strategy. This focuses on problem solving and managing the change implications. Unit 6 is about evaluating organizational change. In this evaluating organizational change, the most important thing is change must be monitored and change must be evaluated. Monitoring is an attempt to understand whether there is sufficient and appropriate capacity or not. Monitoring is checking each and every step of the work done in that organization. If there is a best possible use of the available resources and whether the implementation process is going as per the plan. So monitoring is one thing, knowing the situation. Second, appropriateness of the capacity. Third, to what extent available resources are efficiently used. And the last point is implementation process is how the implementation process is going as per the plan. This is about the evaluation, the monitoring. Evaluation is determining the gap between planned and achieved goals. So evaluation is more important in order to see the gap. If the gap is between the expectation and what is actually done is wide, then there is a problem. So there must be a kind of care should be done about that change. Second point is about both monitoring and evaluation aim at understanding what is being done and how it is being done. It is about the means and the goals that are expected to be achieved and not. So evaluation is very important issue. There are some kind of methods of evaluation. The first one is self-evaluation. This is holding up a mirror to itself. That is checking ourselves. A person who is in a given organizational area must evaluate himself first rather than waiting for a kind of evaluation done by other people. Second point is participatory evaluation. This is inclusive in nature. It includes all those people who are involved in the project. As its name is self-explanatory, it is participatory. Participatory means evaluating all people in the organization about the internal and external condition of that organization. Third point is rapid participatory appraisal. This one is evaluation by an interdependent team in a short span of time. People are what? Interdependent. That means between departments, between divisions, between sections, between classes, between different position holders. The interdependent, not intradependent, but interdependent between the individuals should just evaluate themselves. The third point is external evaluation by those who are not part of the organization. This external evaluation, as its name indicated, they are not part of the organization, but they are outside the organization. These people evaluate the success and the failure of our organization. The fifth one is internal evaluation. Internal evaluation. Internal evaluation, interaction between an outside evaluation or evaluation team and the organization. So this one is when both the internal and the external bodies come together and sit and evaluate the success and the failure of that organization. With this part, evaluation is the most important thing. All of us should just see ourselves. Just evaluating organizational change. Evaluating is most important thing. Evaluating tell us about the situation. Evaluating ourselves and organizational performance tell us about the achievement, and evaluation also tell us about the success and failure. So every activity of an organization, activities must be evaluated very carefully. So in evaluating organizational change, two things are very important thing. One is monitoring, another point is evaluation. Evaluation is an attempt to understand whether there is sufficient and appropriate capacity or not. If there is a best possible use of the available resources and whether the implementation process is going as per the plan. So in evaluation, we are expected to see about 3 points. One thing, the efficiency of the sufficiency of the capacity. Another point is to what extent that capacity is appropriate. Another point is, are we really using available resources in a best way? The third point is whether the implementation process is going as per the plan or not. Evaluation is, therefore, it is to determine the gap between the planned and the achieved goals. So monitoring is, and evaluation aim at understanding what is being done and how it is being done. There are some methods of evaluation. One is self-evaluation, the other one is participatory evaluation, the other one is rapid participatory evaluation, another point is external evaluation, the final point is internal evaluation. Self-evaluation is holding up a mirror to self, evaluating self-performance, self-experience, self-motivation, self-ambition. Second point is participatory evaluation. This one is inclusive in nature. It includes all those people who are involved in the project. All those people involved in the project should evaluate the performance of that organization. The third point is rapid participatory appraisal. Evaluation by interdependent team in a short span of time. It is, I'm not saying about intradependent team, the interdependent team. This one is a kind of horizontal kind of relationship among the individuals. Horizontally, people can just evaluate themselves. Different sections in different work division evaluate each other. The fourth point is external evaluation by those who are not part of the organization. So these people are external by nature. They may not have adequate information about the organization. So these people can come and evaluate the organization by using the standard established by the organization. The last point is about the internal evaluation. The internal evaluation. This is interaction between an outside evaluator or evaluation team and the organization. As we know, we people do not prefer evaluation. Evaluation is very important to tell us about the organization, to tell us our performance, to tell us about the work done, to tell us about the achievement and the failure, to tell us about the appropriateness of the organization in order to achieve, whether they achieve or not the organizational work in a given area. So these are some of the pointers in order to see in this area. When we talk about change, the most important thing is looking at about the resistance. When we see a kind of change, there is always a kind of resistance. This is by nature, resistance is normal. This is by normal. People resist change because of the new thing, which will they expect. Because in change, there is always new thing. There is always risk. There is always inevitability. Therefore, in order to minimize risk, in order to accept or reject risk, in order to appreciate or devalue the change, we have to just see, first evaluate what is change itself. This change must be studied from internal and external perspectives. So this change also must be a kind of controlling system. Change must be controlled. How can we control change? One is preparing people for change. Second one is introducing people about the change vision. Third point is planning for the change. The only thing which is always exists in any environment is change. What is constant in the world is change itself. So we have to just control these things. Therefore, next time we shall see about the conflict management. First, we have tried to see about change management. Conflict management is the next part of the discussion. I will come back after a break. Thank you very much.